Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome back to the deep space. I know it has been definitely a while since I have recorded an episode, but I will say life is lifing, and when you're just living in the moment, sometimes you gotta pause. But I feel like time has definitely flew by this year, and I don't even know where it went. I think it's like actually crazy that I have no idea where the time has went. It has flown by, especially from the last time that I have posted an episode or made an episode. Um, but yes, it is a new month. It's a fresh month. It is November 1st. So it's a new beginning. And I feel like there's a new moon that is coming. There's a new beginning that's coming. Everything is supposed to be fresh and flourishing. And I just pray that everybody just finds love and light into this month of November and everybody flourishes and their finances grow and everything that you want to do for yourself, it will definitely be achieved. Um, yeah, it's crazy. The year's almost done. But, I want to tell everybody again, just welcome back and thank you for everybody that has been supporting and still waiting patiently for another episode. I am forever grateful. Thank you. But today I want to talk about that self-care era because I've been seeing a lot of times people now on social media platforms that people are talking about they're in their self-care phase and self-care era, and I'm in that. So I'm like, why not talk about it? Um, you know, it is definitely a time to really take the time for yourself. I feel like a lot of people don't really take that genuine time for you. Like everybody's always on the go. We're working, we're living, we're dealing with life, but take that time for yourself and just be there for you for a second. Once again, I'm the type of person that takes on a lot of different things and takes on a lot of different energies and people and what they're going through. But I'm like, it's a time to just take time for me. And over the time that I have taken the break of not posting anything, no episodes or anything, I took that time to work on me, and I took that time to work on my self-care. So, and it wasn't even just self-care, because some people really think that self-care might just be like, okay, just go pamper yourself and that's it. But like, how do you really feel in the inside and out is where my main focus was. And I focus on the physical, I focus on the mental, I focus on the emotional, I focus on every aspect. And I know there's a whole bunch of different stages of self-care. But for one, I will say, anybody that is really down and out or going through it or anything, or even just not, you don't even have to be going through anything. Just take that time for you, whether in the physical form of trying to build self-care for myself. One thing I did was I just started going to the gym. I started to stretch more. I started to go for walks, putting things into my body to make me feel nourished. Um, some parts of my life, I started to notice that I was having a little bit of health issues for myself. Anything major, but just changes in my body, especially because I am getting older. I had my two kids, and my body started to change, and I started to notice changes in my body. So I was like, you know what? It's time to take that time for myself to um, heal my body within. So I started working out, and it's not even just about just working out and stretching and yoga and just movement for your body, because I want to live for a long time. I don't know about anybody else, but I want to be able to live. I want to be able to live to see my grandkids or even maybe a great grand. Like, I think that's amazing that you're able to do that. So I'm like, I want to be able to live. I want to live for me. So, and live for my people and my family. So I'm taking that time to just focus on me, and self-motivation is not the greatest. It's not the easiest, I would say. Some people can work out at home, some people can stretch at home and do that stuff, but some people, they need somebody to push them, to train them, to get them to do what they need to really do for themselves. But, for me personally, I took that time to just feel good within my own skin. Um, you know, Join a class. I always tell people this. I'm always preaching. I'm like, you got to join a class, or go do this or do that, or start to go on walks. Like, just open up your windows, feel good about yourself. But, it only takes so much. You can only say so much, and you can only speak so much, and it's easier said than done. But if you really put your mind to something for yourself, it will get done. Like, you really just get to take the time. A lot of people say that they're too busy. You know, that's what I'm noticing. A lot of people are saying that they're too busy, but you make time for what you want to make time for. So if you can make time to go to the club and go to the party and go do this and get out on the road and get up and go to work, you have the time to go to work, but do you actually take the time to make time for yourself? That's the real question that I had to ask me. On an emotional end of it, or not even just a mental part of it, I started to focus on mindfulness and, just trying to stimulate my mind, detoxing my mind, detoxing myself from social media platforms for a minute. I took myself away for a second. I started to pay attention. And I started to slow down. And I started to be still. And once I started to be still, I started to notice a lot of things around me. I started to notice that I don't like drinking anymore. I don't like to indulge in the heavy partying. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy a party, but it's like, what do you really want for yourself on a spiritual level? And for me, one of the things that I noticed with self-care for myself was starting to trust in God, like really trust in God and put my faith into him, and starting to try to follow what he really wanted for me and why I was put on this earth. And I feel like when you take that time to really be still and listen for a second, you'll hear a different voice. You'll see different signs. You'll see, he's trying to show you where you're really supposed to be and what you're really supposed to do with yourself, right? So I would say just pay attention and take a moment and be still and start to observe more around you and what you don't want around you and what you want to indulge in and what you don't want to indulge in. And definitely, like, I realized for myself that I didn't want to indulge in any partying anymore. Like, I didn't want to go out late at night and partying at night. I didn't really care for the day partying and drinking and getting smashed or drunk. And then the next day I got a hangover. I'm sorry. I'm probably getting too old for that lifestyle, but it's just not for me. I'm not doubting anybody that ever wanted to do it for themselves or do that. If that's your lifestyle, that's your lifestyle. I'm never judging. It's just personally for me, and dealing with this self-care era that I'm in, it's not for me. And so I just say, do what acts of service for yourself. Start to accept yourself for who you are. One of the things that I did for my mental, I started to do breath work, and a lot of people don't really understand what that means. It's nothing crazy, but literally just sitting still, meditating and breathing. And the more I started to do that, just taking the time to just breathe, because I'm a person that deals with a lot of anxiety. I noticed that sometimes, I don't know if anybody else experienced this, and if you did, feel free to let me know what you do to help that anxiety. But what I realized is that I stopped breathing. And when you stop breathing, you don't realize it sometimes. It's like I hold my breath. Like, when you go underneath the water and you hold your breath for a second, that's how it felt. And then you catch yourself like with a deep breath, because the whole entire time you've been holding your breath, but you're still existing, you're still living, like you're still able to cope and able to function with not breathing. So what I started working on is breath work and prayer. Like, prayer is so important. I don't know how much to stress that, but prayer is so important. The more I prayed, the more I gave myself to God, the more I sat down and I spoke to him on my daily basis. Instead of going to people and talking to people about my problems, I talked to God about my problems more. I gave God me. The more I was able to breathe a little bit more. And every time that I would feel that anxiousness in my chest, I would sit there and just ask God to remove the spirit of anxious, the spirit of anxiety. Just remove those things that do not serve me. And once I did that, I started to feel a little bit more free. Like this week, I felt a little off. And everybody's been saying it to me lately too. Like, do you feel off this week? Do you feel off last week? And I was like, I do feel that offness. Like, I just feel, you know what? I won't even say it's since last week. I believe as soon as fall hit for us in Toronto, people around me has been feeling like they're a little bit off. And I'm like, is it seasonal depression? And I'm like, this is why it's the self-care era right now. Whatever self-care you're trying to do for yourself, this is the most crucial, important time to do it for yourself. Because, it's not hot anymore. It's not sunny and bright, and, the drinks and the patios and the fun times and the day parties and the life and the fast life during the summertime is over. And now reality has to kick in. And we're literally sitting there like, damn, like, now we got to go back to boots, and we got to go back to jackets, and we got to go back to, and then winter's hitting. So the seasonal depression does hit people. And I've noticed over the years of interacting with a lot of people get into that seasonal funk, and they don't even know what's really going on with them. They can't really identify it. But once I started feeling like that at the beginning of October, I was like, wait a minute, why do I feel like this? Why do I feel so off? Like, why do I feel like I'm not me? Why am I not as bubbly? Why do I feel so burnt out? So, you got to get into that moment of just making time for you. So that's why for me personally, I haven't smoked in about almost 2 years. I haven't smoked any weed. I wasn't a cigarette smoker or anything like that, but I cut out all weed. I was just always feeling slumped and lazy and not motivated. So, don't get me wrong. Sometimes for some people, it pushes them and opens up their mind and helps them to be more creative. For me, it just wasn't for me. And I knew that substance just is not for me. That plant's not for me. I did it for many years, and I realized that it's just not my thing. Like, when you're younger, it's like, it's cool, whatever. But like, as I'm getting older, I'm like, it's making me tired, and like, I don't feel like doing anything. So that's clearly not for me. And I gave up drinking for a second, and then I went back to it because summer hit, and I was like, okay, like, it's the party time. And after this summer, I was just like, nah, like, I don't like this feeling. I don't like what is it my purpose? Like, it's not my purpose. And the more I'm learning what alcohol really is the more I don't want it into my body, the more I realize it's just not for me. And so, you know what? I'm 2.5 months in strong, no alcohol in my system and counting, because I'm really, really serious about this. I was like, nah, I don't care if we're at a function and we're getting excited and, no, I'm not missing out on anything. It's just not for me. I can still live off of life without having to drink and get completely wasted, or not even completely wasted, but just having to feel like I need to fit in to be with people or be around people. Like, that's just not for me. So I would say, if you're trying to just nourish your body, literally hydrating your body, feeling good in your skin is the most important thing. But on an emotional part, on an emotional self-care part, this is what I realized the most. And the most best thing you could probably do for yourself. And this is why I tie it into the alcohol and the drugs, or anything a substance that makes you feel a little bit better. A lot of times substance or anything like that makes you feel like it suppresses anything you're going through or whatever. Or even if you had a hard day, you're going to take something to ease the day, right? But the more I'm realizing for me, of just focusing on me for a second and knowing what I like for myself and what I don't like for myself, the most important thing that I realized is it's okay to say no. I was always so used to saying yes to, like, yo, let's take a shot. Okay. Oh, yo, you're not going to drink with me? Okay. And I knew that I never really wanted him to take it, and really wanted to drink, or really wanted to do things, or let's go to this party. And I know really and truly, I just want to chill out in my house, and I don't want to leave, and I just want to chill, and I want to become more homebody. But then I'm like, okay, because the girls want to go out, or this person wants to go out, or a family member wants to go out. And I was like, all right, cool, I'll go outside. But I'm starting to learn and realize it's okay to say no. Like, I don't have to always say yes. And that is a really important part of self-care, is realizing that you don't always have to say yes. You can say no. We're adults. Suppose like somebody's having a party and you don't really want to go. Like, you can tell them no. Like, I don't feel like coming. And if, as an adult, as a grown person, if you catch some type of feeling from somebody telling you they don't want to go somewhere, or they're making a decision for themselves that they don't want to do something, I don't know, time to grow up. But definitely, It's okay to say no, and make time. Make time for yourself to sit down and reflect on your feelings or whatever you are thinking. Like, take the time to reflect. When you take that time to reflect to yourself, it's like a different feeling. You get to think about how you handle things, why you felt that way, why you're going through this. There's so many different questions you can ask yourself, but take that time to reflect. Take that time. And practicing self-compassion. Like, be your own supporter. I'm sorry, like, if you can't tell yourself like you support you and you are down for you, or like even when you're just confident within yourself, like if you suppose you have an insecurity about yourself, if you don't uplift you, who else is going to do it for you? No one else is going to do it for you except you. You're the one that has to say, I'm good, like I look good. I'm pretty sure there's people that may look at me and I'm not their cup of tea, but as long as I know that I am my cup of tea for me, nobody can talk to you. Nobody cannot talk to you. You gotta make sure that you are your own cup of tea for you, and be kind to yourselves. Be kind to yourself. We suffer and then we fail and then we don't have we have self-doubt for ourselves. Like, don't be your worst critic on yourself. Like, don't criticize yourself. If anything, big up yourself. I'm sorry, like, look at me, not even, I would say like, okay, I started this podcast it's been a while. We'll just say a few months, okay? But it's been a while, and I beat myself up at one point at the beginning, like when I stopped and I took the time away from my podcast, and I said to myself, why am I doing this? Like, or I should have never even started in the beginning. And I was doubting myself, like maybe it's not good enough. But I'm like, I know I had to pick up myself and say, no. Rewind here, girl. Like, at the end of the day, you gotta be your biggest supporter. And I'm pretty sure there's somebody out there, like, you always gotta tell yourself there's somebody out there that is definitely looking at your videos or listening to your voice, listening to your words, and you might have uplifted somebody. You may have motivated somebody. You may have pushed somebody. So the way I look at it, I'm like, yo, you got to be your own supporter, man. Be your own supporter and beware of your emotional boundaries. Like, just beware of it. Like, say no, respect yourself. Asking yourself for time and space. Like, even when you don't want to discuss something with somebody, you want to take the time to gather your thoughts. Like, I've learned that this year, and on another episode, I'll get into it, but learning to give somebody time to process, giving yourself time to process, giving yourself space. That's really, really important. Like, when you take that time to gather your thoughts, instead of having to act in the moment or just listen to respond. And I'm learning that. I'm still learning that to this day, because growing up, it's like we just, okay, get defensive, say what you have to say. And I'm just like, nah, like that's not proper ways of communicating. Like, that is definitely not proper ways of communicating. So if you could take the time to say, you know what, take that step back for yourself and be like, okay, you know what, I want to take time to myself to gather my thoughts, think about it, and reflect, right? And reflect on everything that happened, or everything that I'm thinking of, everything that I'm feeling, and then I can come back and I can face it. Take that time for yourself. Another thing I would say is just being able to accept help. Accept help is a form of self-care. So when you are able to accept help from people, whether it's words of wisdom, don't look at things as like it's a handout or a pity party, or, don't look at it like that. You are surrounded with people because they want to support you. You did that. Like, I never knew how to do that. Like, being an alpha female, I was always like, no, I could do it by myself. Like, I'm trying to be this strong Black woman. I could do it by myself. But like, really and truly, like, it's okay to not want to have to do it by yourself. It's okay to want help. It's okay to accept help. It's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And Just remind yourself every time that somebody is trying to help you out with something, or don't look at it like it's an ego thing or a pride thing, because really and truly it's not a pride thing. Like, put down your pride for just 2.2 seconds, like maybe not even 2.2, put it down for 10 seconds, maybe a little longer, you know. And don't speak poorly on others. Like, I'm learning, I don't want to gossip about people, I don't want to talk down about people. And I know that I always say, like, God is the only one that should be judging, and I'm not the one to judge, but we are human and we tend to judge when things are presented to us and is in front of us. So we'll sit down and we'll judge people regardless. But I'm telling myself right now, like, or telling everybody else right now, please try not to be so harsh to people and judge other people's life or speak poorly on people. Like, if you're gonna speak poorly on people, you might as well speak poorly on yourself. Like, because you just literally dumbed down your character and made your character so ugly that you don't even want to present yourself on a proper note or on a positive note. Now you're just on a negative level. So I just say, please just don't speak poorly on people. And once again, own how you feel. Own how you feel. It is okay to feel how you feel, and it is okay to express how you feel. Focus on your self-care, focus on what you want for you, focus on who you are as an individual, and remember that it's never too late to start over. It's never too late to do what you need to do for yourself, and just focus on you. Feel the self-care that you need to feel for yourself. Fill yourself with love, gratitude, abundance, and you will see yourself flourish. You will see yourself become a better person. Fill yourself with every love and light into you. That's all I can say at the end of the day. Again, thank you for tuning in again and continuing to support me on this journey on the deep space. I highly appreciate everyone that continues to show your support. But yeah, if you know of anybody that needs to hear this, once again, share, like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, blessings to all. Peace.